Gessica Arruda was born in the coastal city of Recife, Brazil, a place where the rhythm of the ocean seemed to pulse through the hearts of everyone who called it home. Her childhood was shaped by color, music, and movement, the kind of environment that celebrates vibrancy, even amid hardship. From an early age, she carried herself differently. She wasn't shy, but she wasn't loud either. There was something quietly powerful about the way she observed people, how she noticed the small details that most ignored. Her mother used to say that Gessica saw the world in photographs, always looking for beauty, even in the simplest of things. That sensitivity would later define the way she approached modeling, not as an act of posing, but as an act of storytelling. Growing up, she faced the same pressures that many young girls in Brazil faced. The media's obsession with a single type of beauty, slim, toned, and Eurocentric, made it hard for anyone outside that mold to feel seen. Jessica's body developed early, her curves distinct even as a teenager. She often found herself trying to fit into clothes that weren't designed for her frame, trying to shrink herself to match an idea of beauty that never included her. Yet, even in moments of doubt, she found small ways to express herself. She would borrow her cousin's camera, pose in front of colorful walls, and experiment with lighting. What began as playful experimentation turned into a subtle rebellion, an insistence on seeing herself as beautiful, no matter what others said. Her father worked long hours as a mechanic, while her mother ran a small food stall by the beach, selling pastel and cold drinks to tourists. It was there that Gessica learned the art of connection. She saw how her mother's kindness drew people in, how a simple conversation could transform a transaction into a memory. That same warmth would later make her photos feel intimate and alive. When people looked at her images, they didn't just see a model, they saw a person who was fully present. By the time she turned 19, Gessica decided to take her first step into modeling. She sent photos to small local agencies in Recife and São Paulo. Most didn't respond, and those that did told her to lose weight or consider commercial work instead of fashion. The rejection hurt, but it didn't break her. She began studying models she admired, from Ashley Graham to Fluvia Lacerda, another Brazilian who had paved the way for curvy women in fashion. Gessica realized that representation wasn't something handed to you. It was something you carved out with persistence. In 2016, she joined an online modeling community that connected aspiring models with independent photographers. Her first photo shoot wasn't glamorous. It took place in an abandoned warehouse with a friend who owned a basic camera. She wore a simple white dress that hugged her figure, her hair loose and wild in the afternoon wind. When she saw the photos, she was startled. Not because they were perfect, but because they were honest. For the first time, she saw herself as she truly was: bold, feminine, unapologetic. She posted a few of the photos online, and within days they began circulating on social media. Messages poured in from women thanking her for showing a body that looked like theirs, for reminding them that softness could also be strength. Encouraged by the response, Gessica created an Instagram page dedicated to her modeling journey. She didn't have professional management or expensive equipment, just her authenticity and determination. Her captions weren't just about beauty. They were about self-acceptance, confidence, and the daily struggle of learning to love one's body in a world that profits from insecurity. Brands began to notice her growing influence. Small fashion labels that focused on inclusive sizing reached out to her to collaborate. What started as passion slowly turned into a career. By 2018, she had shot for regional campaigns and appeared in online fashion magazines that highlighted diversity in modeling. Her presence was magnetic. Photographers said she had the rare ability to make the camera fall in love with her, not because of her looks, but because of the emotion she brought to every frame. She could express vulnerability and power in the same glance. Her signature style became recognizable: radiant skin, expressive eyes, and a posture that said she owned every inch of her body. Outside of modeling, Gessica became an advocate for body positivity. She began speaking at small community events, schools, and women's groups about her experiences with body image. Her message was clear: beauty was not a size, and confidence wasn't vanity, it was survival. She shared stories about how she used to cover her arms at the beach, afraid of being judged, and how liberating it felt to finally step into her truth. Her transparency made her relatable, and her influence grew beyond fashion. As her following expanded, larger brands began to take interest. She signed with a modeling agency in São Paulo that specialized in representing diverse talent. The transition was intimidating at first. She found herself surrounded by models who had years of experience, who knew how to navigate castings, contracts, and photo shoots. But she learned quickly, observing how to balance professionalism with individuality. She refused to let the industry reshape her into something she wasn't. When stylists suggested clothing that minimized her curves, she politely declined. She believed her shape was her strength, not something to disguise. Her big breakthrough came when she was featured in a campaign for a popular swimwear brand that embraced all body types. The photos, taken along the coast of Bahia, went viral. They captured not just her beauty, but her confidence, the joy of being fully herself. International magazines picked up the images, calling her one of Brazil's most inspiring curvy models. For Gessica, the real victory wasn't fame, it was visibility. She knew that somewhere, a young girl scrolling through those photos might feel seen for the first time. As her career flourished, Gessica also faced the darker sides of the spotlight. Online criticism and body-shaming comments became part of her reality. Some people accused her of promoting unhealthy lifestyles simply for existing in a body that didn't conform to narrow beauty standards. At first, those words stung, but she learned to filter them, to protect her mental health. She surrounded herself with people who uplifted her, friends, fellow models, and her family who remained her anchor. Her mother's proud smile, her father's quiet encouragement, and her community's love reminded her why she started. In the years that followed, Gessica diversified her work. She collaborated with makeup brands, lingerie designers, and wellness companies that aligned with her values. She became a brand ambassador for a fitness line that focused on strength, not size, promoting a holistic view of health. She also launched her own project, an online platform dedicated to empowering women through workshops on confidence, self-care, and creative expression. Her dream was to create a space where women of all shapes could see themselves through a lens of love rather than judgment. Her journey took her beyond Brazil. She traveled to New York, London, and Paris for photo shoots and fashion events. Each city left a mark on her. In New York, she experienced the raw energy of diversity. Models of every color, size, and style walking proudly down the streets. In London, she admired the artistic boldness of fashion. And in Paris, she felt the weight of tradition, but also the thrill of subtly challenging it. She walked in her first international runway show for a brand that championed body inclusivity. The applause that followed her walk wasn't just for her outfit. It was for what she represented, a new era of beauty. Despite her success, Gessica remained grounded. She continued to post candidly on social media about her insecurities, reminding her followers that self-love was a journey, not a destination. She spoke openly about anxiety, about the pressure of maintaining an online presence, and about the importance of rest. Her honesty made her stand out in an industry often obsessed with perfection. She wasn't afraid to show her stretch marks, her cellulite, or her unfiltered mornings. To her, those were symbols of life, proof of a body that had carried her through joy and struggle. In her personal life, she remained mostly private, though she occasionally shared glimpses of the people she loved. A close circle of friends, her younger brother, and her partner who supported her activism. She often described love as a collaboration, not possession. In interviews, she said that being loved for who she was, rather than who she was expected to be, gave her courage to keep breaking barriers. She wanted her followers to know that vulnerability wasn't weakness, it was authenticity. During the global shift in the modeling industry, when more agencies began signing diverse talent, Gessica became a reference point in Brazil for what it meant to be a modern model. She mentored newcomers, teaching them how to navigate contracts, how to set boundaries, and how to use their voices. Her leadership extended beyond the runway. She collaborated with NGOs promoting body image education among teenagers, sharing her story to challenge beauty stereotypes. In the quiet moments, away from the lights and cameras, Gessica returned to what first inspired her: photography and storytelling. She started a side project where she photographed women from different walks of life, capturing their stories in words and images. Each portrait was a tribute to realness, to laughter lines, scars, and softness. It was her way of giving back to the art that had given her purpose. Years passed and her legacy deepened. She published a memoir that combined personal essays, photographs, and reflections on the fashion industry. Critics praised it for its sincerity and poetry. She wrote not as a celebrity, but as a woman who had fought to belong and found strength in imperfection. Her words resonated with readers who had